Good morning, everybody. It's Derek. We're in Speed Shop again. Got more videos coming. I apologize for the delay. There's a lot of work to get done. As I mentioned in one of the other videos, I've got 73 days now until LS Fest, meaning that the car has got to be done, tuned on the trailer, and sitting in Dallas. So we've got a lot to get done. But anyways, I want to go over today the battery box that I've got. What I did is I went through, kind of looked online, and I found different battery box ideas, and then also looked at the NHRA rules, which I've got a copy of here that I went through and done, printed out here recently. But you can kind of see over it's got any and all information on it. One of the big parts that I was paying attention to on here being the fact that I moved the battery to the back of the car, that it goes through and states on here in the event that you move the battery, the location of it, etc., that the battery either needs to be in a fully sealed or enclosed box. That way, some people that maybe just running a standard style battery, they just relocate it to the back. You're familiar with the Trans Am and a Camaro at that it's basically one open cab. So you don't have a firewall blocking it off like you have like in some of the newer Camaros where the battery is in the battery box. So what you want to do is make sure that if you're going through and doing that, and if you are attending any events that may potentially utilize NHRA rules, which a lot of places are, especially something of the size of Holly, LS Fest, that's the last thing you want to do is go through and prep, and then get there and then get shot down or told you can't compete, whatever the case may be, because you don't have something as simple as a $40, $50 enclosed battery box. So anyways, I'm going to go over my design that I did, kind of show you how I did everything, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, here we go. All right, so jumping over the battery box setup that I've got here, what I've done is I went through, and this is actually specific to a Mustang, Fox body style Mustang, but I liked it for the fact that even back here, I had the ability, I could still go through and, I could still go through and get the factory bolts, the big nuts that go on there, the plastic nuts for the Trans Am tail lights. I could get those on there. And then what I did is I got this particular setup. I'm using an Odyssey battery. I can go through and list the model number here in a bit and show you everything. But I think altogether, just in case you're wondering, weight-wise, it's like 27.6 pounds. So I've been measuring all that stuff out as I do it. But anyways, what I've got is I have the power and ground wires that are coming directly from the front. So I've used a zero gauge battery wire, and I've got my ground, and then of course I've got my positive. As you can see, it's just stubbed out right here because I'm trying to figure out how I want to set it up. If I want to use a breaker style like this, or if I want to use a different setup that I've got, which actually utilizes, let's see if I can find this here. It's actually one of the pull style setups where you can go through, if you pull it from the back of the car, some of you may have seen before, somebody walks up here and they can pull it to turn the power on, or push it to turn the power off. I've got that set up as well, so I'm trying to see how I want to do it. But anyways, the way I did this is ran all my power wire up to the front, and you can kind of see it going down the passenger side right there. It comes up, goes through, and I opened up the hole that the factory wire loom came through, and by doing so, it allowed me to put the main harness for the Holly through there, plus these in there, and I made sure to put a wire loom on the power wire, because the last thing you want is that to nick anything and short out, and then you have lots of issues. So then what I also did on here as well, to make sure I kind of kept the sealed status of this box, is I put the rubber grommets on here and just kind of throwing it out there kind of as a helper, whatever you want to call it. If you're trying to run anything through these like this, and you've got, as you can see, how tight these are, a trick, if you don't already know this, is spray a little bit of WD-40 either directly on the wire or like on a rag, and just gently rub it on there. So when you go to slide it in there, it will just slip through, because if not, a lot of times you get it to where it might bind up and it tries to push that, this little guy out. And so, you're already trying to force that in there as it is. You can see just moving that, it moves inside the battery box. So that shows you how tight that is. Then what we also went through and did is I had some of this kind of L-shaped aluminum brackets and cut them to where they fit right here, and then used a nutsert on both sides. That way I could go through and bolt it down. But this factory setup right here, it's got this little deal that's stubbed out that's threaded. And so what I actually did is I utilized this, drilled 2 holes, connected them together. And this way I can essentially kind of seat the battery box, or I can locate it. So that way if I take it out and I go to put it back in, I'm not trying to figure out how I need to make it go. Once it hits that right there, it's in there. And in case you're wondering as well, I kind of show you if I can get this thing to go correctly. Right over here in the back corner, it's right next to the antenna, but it's not sitting there slamming onto it. So it's not kind of pushing it to where, you know, it's going to give it any issues or anything. So that's one thing you also want to make sure you kind of keep an eye out for too. That way, if you're doing anything, you give yourself clearance on everything else. So anyways, this is the way I've got this done. And then inside the battery box, like I said, you can see on here that I've got it bolted down, and I use nutserts on the aluminum as well. That way I can actually take this off of these brackets when I take the whole thing out. And yes, in case any of you are wondering, I used springs to, you know, make this spring loaded. And yeah, they are valve springs off of some old heads I had on the 5.3. So anyways, just kind of giving you an idea of what we've got. And once I start getting all these connections together later on today, fingers crossed, I'll give you a video of the first power up on everything. So I appreciate you tuning in, and keep on doing what you do. Keep wrenching. Thanks.